Hello, Anna.
Hello, Pauline.
It's great to have you on this podcast. We're very honored that you've decided to talk to us about procurement and compliance and how the two combine in order to create value for the company and ultimately reduce risk for the company. Anna, we met a couple of weeks ago, and it's been a pleasure to learn from you. Do you want to briefly introduce yourself and then introduce Flow Health, and then we'll take it from there?
Sure. So, first of all, my pleasure to meet you again. And I will start with my introduction. My name is Anna Kunush. I am lead procurement manager at Flow. I have already more than 7 years of experience in procurement, and I've worked across IT procurement and supply chain management. What about Flow? I joined Flow over 3 years ago as a procurement specialist and have since grown into my current leadership role, driving strategic procurement initiatives to support the company's rapid growth. As I touched the base about Flow, so let me share some details about Flow. Flow is the most popular women's health app globally. Over 400 million people have downloaded Flow, and 75 million people used it on a monthly basis. We calculated it is like around 1 in 4 women ages 18-44 in the USA now uses Flow. So it's quite
Which is pretty incredible. It's absolutely incredible.
yeah. And what I say more, so Flow supports women during their entire reproductive lives and provides curated cycle and ovulation tracking, personalized health insights, expert tips, and a fully closed community for women to share their questions and concerns. So, being a woman, I really treasure these opportunities and possibilities which Flow provides to each woman. And also, I would like to mention that Flow prioritizes safety and keeps a sharp focus on being the most trusted digital source for women's health information. Flow Health is available in more than 20 languages on iOS and Android. So I believe I briefly covered some information about Flow.
Absolutely. And we're here today to talk about one of the things that you've been um, spending a lot of your time on, which is how procurement and compliance can work together hand in hand in order to achieve sort of better outcomes for the company and ultimately protect the company from bad actors in the broad sense of the word, but we'll talk a lot about this. We're going to go through a few things. First of all, we're going to try to learn from you this sort of key procurement challenges in collaborating with a compliance team and making sure that the procurement process um, is compliant and how you've been able to achieve that with your compliance team. The second thing that we'll see is we'll try to learn from you the best practices in implementing sort of compliance focused procurement. And then we'll sort of wrap up and ask you how you predict AI will impact sort of the intersection of compliance and procurement over the next couple of years. How does that sound?
Sounds amazing. Let's start.
Amazing. So in terms of what you've set up at Flow, can you tell us a little bit about how you've been able to create a procurement policy process workflows um, in collaboration with your compliance team and to meet their requirements?
Thank you for your question. So I will begin with that at Flow, our strategy for balancing growth and control is built around four pillars. So with strong governance and compliance being on our primary focus. So as I mentioned previously, ISO is Flow is ISO certified. So we have uh, two 7001 and two 7701, and we have regular audits that keep us aligned and secure. So this is the most important thing for us. And also ISO is non-negotiable, especially in health tech. As Flow is a health tech company, we need to stay sure that we choose only secure vendors, only privacy focused and aligned with the best practices. This means that we have a really very tight relationship with all compliance teams, to stay secure and sure in the activity we are doing.
Super clear. How does that, if we put that into sort of practice, what does that look like? What is today the process of verifying the compliance of your vendors? So let's say I'm a Flow Health employee and I want to buy something from a new vendor. Maybe it's Payflows. What do I have to go through, and how does procurement and compliance collaborate?
Sure. So we will start from the due diligence in case if you have already a vendor whom you would like to onboard. Of course, you can share with us the name, and we will start due diligence. If not, we will conduct a market research for you. So let's go with the way when you know whom you would like to onboard. So we will gather all the needed information for due diligence. So it means like legal name, legal address, banking details. So to stay sure that the vendor is not under sanctions or the reputation is not spoiled, because it's also quite important. And the next step will be to understand whether we need to share any personal data or whether we need to provide any integrations or implementations with our systems. Because as I mentioned, we are strictly looking for this, because it is important to be sure in our vendors. And let's go with the way if the vendor needs both PIA, personal information, and security and implementation and integration with our systems. This means that we will also involve our privacy and security teams to help us to check risks and approve the vendor is good to go next. So we are triggering needed assessments to check these things from privacy and security sides. And vendor also is working very closely with us to provide us with needed information like ISO certificates or SOC 2 Type 2, pen test, and so on. Once all the assessments are completed and privacy and security teams approve vendor, we can move to legal side. We're reviewing the contract to stay sure that also there we're secure and like no any additional blockers there. Also, we shouldn't forget about budget. So, as you know, like when company is growing, so it's really very important to get an approval for this. And once you received all the approvals, we're safe to sign the contract and move to the purchase.
And how is this all sort of organized? There's a lot of approvals. Like, if I'm the average employee, how do I know what I'm supposed to do?
You have a procurement manager
Okay,
who is helping you through this way.
okay, through the process. They're helping me through the process. Um, how well does the cross-functional alignment because there's a lot of teams to coordinate in many ways. And so there's a lot of balls to drop. There's a lot of opportunities for the process to break. How do you guys ensure the cross-functional alignment of sort of procurement first, legal, privacy, security? I think that was it.
Let me explain you in more details. So procurement like is your friend who will help you to pass all these like steps of onboarding. So basically, the procurement is responsible to collaborate with legal, with privacy and security teams to trigger needed assessments, to add needed people to review or approve anything, so that like a requester is a person who just needs to provide some information in case if something is missing. So of course procurement will ask for this missing information, and that's it. So I would say that procurement is like the orchestration system which aligns everybody between this onboarding process.
It's the human orchestration system.
Yeah, I would say like this. even you know,
Okay,
even if there is like orchestration system in a company, still like I believe procurement is the top of it.
absolutely, absolutely. How do you currently sort of make sure um, to document sort of those approvals? Because one of the big element of compliance is it's not just about doing the verification, but when I look back, you know, 2 years from now, when something goes wrong, how do I know who approved it, what was performed, and how I know that my team followed the process?
Mhm. So as I mentioned previously that we are ISO certified, so of course we need to have those evidences that everything was approved and there are no risks. We have internal policies where all processes are clearly described, so that
Yeah,
like any person, a new to company, let's say, can review and create a ticket for procurement. And also, as I mentioned, also procurement is a friend who can help you and provide any needed information. So our team is really well trained, so that we know all the people involved from other teams, so that like we can do onboarding in agreed SLAs and provide with a vendor to any requester.
super, super clear. Um, we've talked a little bit about sort of why it's important for Flow to make sure that all the vendors go through a form of assessment. One of the things that I'd love to sort of dig a little bit deeper in is what kind of assessment do you perform on vendors? What kind of things, what kind of risk are you trying to measure?
Sure. So, as I mentioned, so privacy risks. So, we need to be sure that vendor processes or controls information, personal information, in the way it's agreed upon GDPR and other policies. So, our questionnaires cover this. So, once we are triggering our privacy questionnaires, vendor will provide all the information will which support that the vendor is safe to go with. The same thing about security, so that the provision of ISO or SOC 2 Type 2 and pen test also makes us sure that if anything happen, let's keep our fingers crossed that nothing.
Of course.
That we will be notified and we will have enough time to action. And yeah, this is like the things which we need from our vendors.
Super clear. Let's sort of move forward and sort of we're now in 25. it's been about 2 years since the AI, companies emerged with sort of the chat GPT type of products. There's been a tremendous amount of advancement. How do you imagine AI supporting procurement team in sort of the compliance element, but beyond that, how do you imagine you as a procurement leader adopting AI in your day to day to make your life, but also your stakeholders' lives easier?
A good question, because right now we hear from any sources about AI and how it helps us to simplify our lives. So I see AI as an essential helper of procurement, because it's like not only about helping with compliance and so on, but also with efficiency as well. So my vision on AI is the following. So first of all, I would like to see something about predictive maintenance and supplier reliability, as we were talking a lot about compliance, so that AI will monitor equipment usage and supplier reliability in a real life, so that if any action will happen, so we will be notified in this exact minute. Also, just let me to think. And also, yeah, this monitoring will help operations to run smoothly as well, because it's a huge problem for business to stop even like for an hour. Uh, so I believe
Yeah.
AI, yeah, could help us a lot here. So also, I believe AI-powered collaboration and automation, that AI can provide us with power smarter collaboration platforms that not only automate routine, but also assist in some tracking performance of vendors, and manage some disputes, because I believe it's also the work which can be done together with AI and human. And what else? Also, I'm thinking about AI.
Yeah, no. I mean, like that's a good list. I was gonna dig deeper on what you just said, which is at Pathos we believe a lot in the combination of humans, maybe a little bit less humans, and AI agents, and these two working hand in hand to make the company more efficient and more productive. Um, what are some of the areas where you think AI agents could sort of take on some of the role of the human procurement?
Mm-hmm. So let me just think. Recently I was speaking with my friend, and I asked if he believes that AI will replace human. So my sincere opinion, that's never, because still I believe communication is what makes us different. And why I like procurement, it is because communication and meeting new people. So I see the tendency that there are a lot of chatbots and so on helping support teams, like to cover the same requests and so on. But in terms of procurement, of course, maybe like some part of gathering information can be covered by agents. Let's say, I don't know. Maybe some information for assessments and so on. I believe it is where I see AI agents helpful.
So it's like helping the human by by freeing up the time of the human so that the human can do what the human is best at, which is
Yeah, yeah.
communication and like spending time with vendors and spending time sort of more time on QBRs instead of sort of gathering data on their own.
Yeah, exactly. Because gathering data, it's like mostly about the same requests, which can be automated and done by AI. And like communication, I mean, like, relationship with vendor, it is something that can be the same because
Yeah,
each
I agree.
vendor is unique.
Absolutely, absolutely. Um, what are other areas where, in your day to day, and you were talking a lot about sort of, I like how you called it procurement is your best friend. Um, in that best friend relationship, how can an agent help you as procurement?
Mm-hmm. So I believe also AI agent can help us gather some information needed for market research to provide some alternatives to vendors, to provide some updates because let's say right now sometimes it's quite manual work to find alternative vendors, and when I have like a clear list, it will be more simpler because I would can share how I'm doing this right now. So I use some special websites. I'm using ChatGPT, but still I'm the person who needs to conduct this,
Yeah,
to write scripts and so on. But like when it will be good, like just to type the name of the vendor and need not maybe the needed services, and AI could help to make a 100% match. So this will be like a game changer for me.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And it's interesting what you said because it's almost like you said the part of being the best friend is also enabling the other teams, enabling the requester by letting them, by empowering them, giving them tools so that they can do their own assessment instead of sort of always relying on you guys. And I think that's an interesting perspective of part of creating value for the organization. Sometimes is getting out of the way. We hear that a lot from merchants around the sort of long tail and focusing on the sort of higher value elements where there's a lot more complexity instead of trying to be everywhere, but slowing down the process.
Yeah, exactly. And also, I believe the main KPI for procurement is to onboard vendor as fast as possible so that like the business can use the services also as fast as possible to deliver the results and like make work easier or something like this.
So absolutely. If we try to like wrap up and sort of conclude some of the things that we just saw, um, and if we have to summarize how procurement can both maintain a strong relationship with the compliance team and at the same time, to your point, not be a blocker. What are some of the good practice that you can share?
Uh, yeah, so you mentioned like a good point that quite often procurement gets labeled as just a cost control function. But my vision is different. So, procurement is a strategic enabler. It's all about driving efficiency, reducing risk, which is really very important, and supporting the company growth in a really meaningful way. Instead of being a last minute checkpoint, procurement is integrated into project, into its planning, into ensuring teams that they get everything what is needed without any delays.
That's sort of what I heard you summarize in the KPI is how fast you can onboard a vendor, and that's super clear. What are some of the, coming back to compliance and supplier assessment? What are some of the best practice that you see in order to embed the assessment process into the procurement culture and process?
From my experience and point of view, a close collaboration with all involved team is a key for success, so that business just need to raise a request and that's it. So we at Flow, we have automated procurement workflows to make purchasing seamless, eliminated any bottlenecks while maintaining compliance. We act as a trusted advisor, ensuring teams can move quickly and efficiently while staying within compliance, budget, and risk thresholds.
And um, the way that you've basically done that is you've said a lot by being the best friend and sort of taking on the relationship with compliance, legal, finance, privacy, security on behalf of the requester. It's almost like being the requester's representative to the compliance process. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. And also, I like to say that like procurement is your trusted partner uh, who helps to communicate also with another teams like other teams like legal, compliance, privacy, security, and we're also trusted partners of these teams as well.
And that's super clear. And then in terms of sort of AI, where I think you've said that you expect AI to help is by basically letting you as procurement spend more time with humans, both internal, the best friend, and external, the sort of relationship with suppliers and making sure that that relationship goes strong. Um, because AI sort of takes on the more repetitive elements. Do you have sort of a final thought of that? If you had a couple of areas where today you think you could be spending less time, if you had a little agent helper doing it, what would it be?
Yeah, sure. So I would ask my AI agent to help me with handling repetitive tasks, letting me working and focusing mostly on supplier relationships, long-term sourcing strategies, and business impact analysis, and help me to spend less time on some operational function, so something like this.
Yeah, and sort of like enable the strategic approach. But that makes that makes sense, and that's exactly sort of our vision of the world. Is humans are great at relationships. Um, AI is way better at data, manipulating data, gathering data, uh, asking 100 times the same thing, and never losing their patience, and which is a great skill. Um, but sharing that workload between human and machine a lot better, I think, will help make the function more strategic. Um, if I if we try to imagine the future and we have this conversation 2 years from now, what do you think has changed?
Oh, I believe a lot things will change, and as I mentioned, I hope that AI agent will release our hands in terms of manual tasks. So, and also, uh, I would like to believe that we still continue to meet with people, not agents. So no AI agent, not AI agents, and. I believe it's the thing which I would like to still see. And in terms of procurement, so I would like to see the world with a more strategic approach, with less risks, uh, because less risks in company, less stress for me.
And better business, more
Of course,
predictability, more business.
exactly. So yeah, calm procurement, happy business, I believe is the key for success.
It makes total sense, and I'm excited to have this conversation in 2 years and see if we were right or wrong, and how far we will have gone in 2 years. Anna, thank you so much for taking the time. It was a super fun conversation, please come back to see us often.
Thank you so much for this conversation, and see you in 2 years. I hope so. We will do another meeting.
I'll send it in the calendar right now.
Agreed.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye bye.